the Bangsamoro News Channel, your window to the promised land. Mula sa Cotabato City News Operation Center, ito ang Bangsamoro Online News. Narito na ang boses ng Bangsamoro, ang Bangsamoro News Channel.
Sir, kamusta po ang mga investors and investments natin dito sa ARM sa ngayon, sir?
Sa ngayon, very good prospects for investments. In fact, we already exceeded our target for this year just in the first 2 months. Our official target, which we submit to the Department of Budget and Management for planning purposes, is 700 million investments for the year. But just these first 2 months, we already reached 863 million. That's for 2 investments in Tawi-Tawi. One is on oil depot in Panglimang, Sugala, and another one is investments in nickel mining in Panglimang, Sugala also.
So, hindi po totoo, sir, na affected yung investments natin dahil sa mamasapan ng incident?
Hindi po. Hindi po. Far from it. In fact, yung Mama Sapano, before it happened, was not in the minds of the investors. Of course, they were thinking that the peace process will continue and will go on. So for the most part, they had already committed to invest in the area. And when it happened, it was just a blip, no? It was more of a media event. But in terms of the ground, they felt that there was nothing that disrupted their plans. So the plans right now are still to go on with the investments. And one of these is on the oil palm as well as banana. These are the ones in Maguindanao province. In Lanao, there's one company there. One of the oldest, in fact, in Mindanao, it's expanding its investments. For the first time, it's around 100 million. The ones in Maguindanao, if it will push through for their submissions to us, one is worth 1.3 billion. That's the oil palm investment. Another one is worth 2 billion for banana investment. Right now, I'm not at liberty to name names or tell you about the particular businesses or the companies because we have confidentiality clauses in our mandate. So I cannot reveal it to you, but rest assured that these people who have expressed their interest or are now in the process of completing their documents for registration in the RBI have not indicated any misgivings about continuing with those projects despite the Mama Sapano incident.
Sir, is there any secret kahit ganito may mga pangyayaring nangyari, Mama Sapano, and then may mga lugar na talagang medyo hindi maganda in ARMM, pero so far the investment is good. So what is the secret for that, sir?
There's no secret. Actually, the week after the Mama Sapano incident, one investor came here to look at the portfolio. And it was not the first time that it had come to portfolio. He already decided to have an operating business in portfolio. He had 3 projects that he wanted to do in the portfolio. Basically concentrating on multi-logistics hub, but also looking at it as an industrial estate. And then, based on their experience as a company that was operating in Subic, possible businesses in light manufacturing. So, right after Mama Sapano, he presented to the armed government his plan to invest in portfolio. So far, when he made this presentation, it was already with financials, no? What does the rate of return on investment and the like. So it's a complete study. So you would notice that he did not, in fact, feel that Mama Sapano had any impact because he was able to talk to the armed officials as well as go to the site where he wants to put up his investment, and there's no problem. There's no issue with regards to safety, security, and that's why he was really committed to push through with the project. So when you hear the impact of Mama Sapano, it's more on the magnification of what had happened in the national scene. But in terms of the actual reality on the ground, there is still a lot of potentials because for the most part, that's on an isolated area. The investments that are happening are in the more stable areas in the whole of the RMM. There's one worrying sign though. This ongoing offensive against the so-called BIF, Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, is creating a lot of displacement. So if you create a displacement of people, then investors will not go in because it's unsettled. It's the people themselves who are being displaced out of their communities. Because when you bring in investments, you work with the communities, with the people. It's not about clearing the people and then putting in your investment and bringing in others from outside to work in your plant or in your plantation. So this is a worrying sign. But so far, those who have committed with us, because they are far from where the fighting is, far from where the displacements are taking place, are saying that they're going ahead. But we do hope that this will stop or at some point in time wrap up. Because ultimately we feel that even those communities who might be lured or attracted to going with beef, with economic development, might be lured back to settling down and going back to a normal life. Because the biggest creator of this kinds of insurgency is one, hopelessness. Secondly, the issue of livelihood, and anger, resentments. So this creates that dynamic. This will create a new generation of people who feel that there's no way out for them except to fight. So we hope that this incident will already be finished. The sooner the better, so that we can bring in interventions to uplift the lives of the people.
Yes, sir. Sir, may mga ano pang ibang potential business dito na pwedeng gawin ng mga foreign investors, sir?
For the most part, we have rapid expansion of what we call the biomass renewable energy sector. In fact, for the past how many years, 3 years now that I've been with the rboi, the number one investor was in the biomass or power industry sector, the renewable energy sector. These are agricultural processors who utilize the waste products, the agricultural waste products of what they are processing, and use this as the fuel or they use the waste product to power the boilers, and then from that generate steam and generate power. So this is the hot industry right now in Mindanao. Maybe because also of the lack of electricity, but also because the incentives as well as the structure for investors is very good. They can sell to the grid, and ultimately the rate also of income tax is very low, 10%. So it attracts a lot of the investors. And in a greenfield area, or more appropriately maybe a brownfield area like Bangsamoro or ARMM in this case, there's enough industry that it's worth investing in biomass or energy resources.
Sir, kung sakaling magkakaroon ng transition of government, hindi ba maapektuhan yung inyong mga plans or...
I don't think so. It will not happen quick. It will not happen that there will be changes right away, because the new Bangsamoro government would still need investments. And the way we run our investments here, it's more laissez-faire, meaning it's free market. It's more deregulated. And even if when it comes to regulation, it's a very light-handed regulations because the priority of the government here, ARMM, the local governments, is to generate jobs. So investors who come in, generate jobs, produce output, economic output, and then money is in circulation. These are the kinds of dynamics that are being attracted, or that the local governments as well as the ARM are trying to do.
Sir, this is an online news, so sir, maybe you can invite investors that they will invest in ARM.
Yes, of course. The ARM is rich in potentials. The thing that you can always rely on here is that our people who are involved in investments are service-oriented, and that when we work with you, since we have less load than other regions, it's very hands-on. So here in the Regional Board of Investments, we go out of our way to secure as well as make assurances to our investors that all their concerns are being addressed. And because we are autonomous, a lot of the authorities, a lot of the permits, licenses that you need, are just next door. It's just one compound, for example, that we work in the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So this is the same thing probably that will happen in the Bangsamoro. It will just be enhanced. There will be even more flexibility to reduce rules or red tape in terms of approving projects. So our number one selling proposition, aside from our natural resources, our assets in terms of land, in terms of people, is the autonomy that we are enjoying right now, and which we hope will be enhanced by the Bangsamoro.
Thank you, sir.